What a wise government would do is not to raise tax at this time, but to widen the tax rate. You want to capture as many people as possible, and we have seen that happen over the past 3 years. Indeed, what we have seen has been very huge.
Kwara State Internal Revenue Service is a major part, is actually a core part of our budget preparation system, because the function of their contribution to the state finances in terms of the internally generated revenue forms a large part of our decision-making system into ensuring implementation of our budget over the course of the year.
Most of the reforms we're doing is to get to that system, to that level, when people can just willingly and say, yes, this is what I've earned. And the law says if I've earned something, I should pay this. So whatever we're doing, we are moving towards that level.
All right, so many thanks for joining us again. In case you are just joining us, this is the AM Drive. It comes to you every day of the week from Mondays to Fridays. I must tell you, this is the best place to be in the whole of North Central Nigeria every morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. We are live on Star Times 113 Free TV 502. We are also now on satellite, so that means that you can watch us on satellite. As of course, Kwara TV is now on satellite. We're also on Facebook. That means that this program is streamed live on Facebook. So that means that you can watch us from every part of the country. Now, joining us is the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service. And of course, joining us are two gentlemen who will be discussing, of course, the way forward and the activities of the KW-IRS. On my immediate right is, of course, the Director Income Tax of KW-IRS, Mohammed Usman. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for having us.
All right, so just at my direct opposite is Abdullah Gege, the head tax assessment. Many thanks for joining us.
Good morning, we're glad to be here.
Good morning, it's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you very much.
All right, so like I said, you can watch us on Star Times 113 Free TV 502. We're also now on satellite, and of course, you can watch us on Facebook at Kwara TV on Facebook. Now, so let me come to you, the Director of Income Tax, Mohammed Usman. There's a lot has been said about in taxation in Kwara State, double taxation, how does it work, and all of that. So now I'm a new business owner, and for a new business owner, I don't have much. I just want to set up my business. Okay, my business. Thank you for that one. I wanted to say sure. I will set up my business. Do I have to still contact KW-IRS for such?
Thank you very much for the question. I know one of the reasons why we're here is to enlighten our taxpayers, so that everyone is either know the right thing to do. Actually, in the process of registration of business, we are not actually involved in that. If you really want it to be registered stuff, you have to be involved with Corporate Affairs Commission and the rest. But as soon as you've already started your business, and it's up to 6 months, the law, deem it necessary that you need to contact if you are within Kwara State, to contact us, Kwara State Revenue Service, to let us know that you've already commenced your business. Okay. There are a lot of reasons why you should do this, because when you do that, we'll be able to give you a lot of advice, what you need to, because it's not everyone that is enlightened on what you're supposed to be paying. We'll be able to guide you to let you know your responsibilities in terms of the various rates you're supposed to pay and taxes you're supposed to pay. And of course, it's not just when you have commenced. Of course, if you also have hiccups and you have to maybe be out of business too, you need to also formally inform us too. because there's a need for you to do that. Because if you don't tell us you have stopped a business, and then later on maybe in the course of trying to know what your tax is, and then you now come later and say, you'll be out of business for 2-3 years, there won't be any documentation to guide that. And talking about issue of double taxation is what we try to avoid to the
barest minimum.
To the barest minimum, we try to avoid it, and it's a strict instruction from the Executive Government's Excellency, Abdulrahman Abdulrazak. If you can see, it's part of the mandate he gave to the state when it established the ease of doing business. And he told us that we must eliminate double taxation or ramification. So we are constantly conscious of that, and then because of our work, we ensure that because it's not even something that is allowed, for somebody to bear the burden of an income tax twice. So we are very conscious of that, and every time we work, we ensure we work well to eliminate double taxation.
Yeah, I want to assume that when it comes to starting a business, there are certain levels to it. Now, if I'm going to start a business, and like Tusi will always say, if I decide to start a business in front of my house, and I feel that there's a small space in my house, and okay, this space is available here. Let me just start, selling drinks and and something small. That is business.
Yes.
And if someone like Tosi decides to start a business large scale, opening a company, employing people, that is also business. Yeah. But in that regard, do I still need to come to KW-IRS to say I'm starting a business in front of my house selling just drinks?
I just want to make ends meet.
Yes, but that ends that you want to meet, right? The income will come indefinitely. And what it does is that whatever income, as long as you are earning income, you must pay tax. So I only open up that kiosk. There's a purpose why you're opening that kiosk. It's not just to keep yourself busy. The ultimate reason is for you to make an income.
Somehow to keep themselves busy. We have grandmas that their children just say, we don't want you to go out and up and down. Just open something in front of the gate.
So we then willingly come to you to tell you that, okay, I'm just making 1,000 naira per day. No, let me go to KW-IRS to tell them that I've started a business, and they will take almost half of the money. Mr. Gegele, what to say?
KW-IRS will not take half of the money.
All right, so clarify.
So what would you take? So what would you take?
Now, what we do basically, like we said the other time, is the reason why you are even telling the state, or why you are coming to Kwara State and Service to inform us that I'm in business, is actually to protect you. It provides more protection to you, because you know that we have touts. We have other people who are illegal people, one way or the other. So if you get documented, through the service, there's going to be one evidence or the other that you have. And when people come to you, and they're not the kind of people that should come to you, you'll be able to flash that, to say, no. I know that KW is where I'm supposed to pay my tax. I've actually been documented by them. So it's a win-win thing for both us and even the taxpayer.
You are saying it as, just like you said,
okay?
The service is saying it as you are guiding.
Yeah.
The owners of the business are seeing it as monitoring. That you are monitoring our business, monitoring state. I just started my business. Okay. I'm not even sure at the end of the month I will make profit.
That's why the doctor actually said this now. He said 6 months into when you start the business. Nobody is asking you to come immediately. Okay. What we're saying is you should ensure that you get documented within 6 months of starting such a business. So, you're starting a business in November, and for whatever reason you're not able to pull yourself together, November, December, January, February, up to March, and sometimes in April you're not saying that, I started this business, and I want to be documented for the purpose of tax. We're not saying do it immediately.
Now, can you also clarify the issue of payee and personal income tax, Mr. Usman?
Okay.
What exactly?
Like we said, for every person that earns income, you're supposed to pay your personal income tax. But there are different ways in which we collect this personal income tax. For those in paid employment, like myself and you, we have what we call pay as you earn. It's a scheme. It's just like a vehicle, a mechanism through which your employer now collects tax, becomes an agent of government, deducts the tax, calculates the tax, deducts it on behalf of the government, and remits. So what they are deducting and whatever they are collecting is still personal income tax. But we use the payee system for those people in the paid employment. So it's just like, it's a scheme, it's a vehicle, it's a system in which we, the law now makes them an agent of government to do the collection and to ensure that they do the correct calculations, and then they not just deducting, they also remit the correct amount to the government.
Do you have issues with remittances? Because some may feel that, okay, money is deducted from my salary and it's not going to where it's supposed to go to. Are you aware of such issues?
In practice, and that's why we do a lot of advocacy. We've seen in practice that most organizations don't even do the right thing. A lot of organizations, they under-deduct. And we try to educate them. That's why we always have our pay workshops. We have a department that attends to them. Anybody. We have software materials that they can use. So what we've discovered is that some don't even they don't do the correct deductions, and some even after deducting, they don't even remit all what they're supposed to remit. Maybe they've deducted 10,000 naira from their workers, they remit 5 naira. All sorts of. So that's why we strictly monitor organizations. We go there, we do our audits and the rest to check and ensure that we're always on the neck of these people. And then we've gone a step further because we feel the taxpayer needs to be informed. So part of the innovations we've done is to ensure that we do our pay alerts. So what we do is that if your organization deducts from you, we don't just give them a receipt that they've paid. We also tell them, give us the names of all the people you have deducted money. Give us their phone numbers. So what we do is if you give us the correct schedule, do you understand? Though we get some, kickback. Some people don't really want because they are not doing the right thing. They don't want to give us this format. So if you have it, we now do an alert. We inform you. We send a text message. Okay, the organization has deducted so amount, has remitted so amount, because we don't know what has been deducted. So when you get this alert, it keeps you informed to be aware of, okay, this is what has been remitted tax audit. You go back to your payslip and then you look at it. Is that what has actually been deducted from my salary? And with these innovations, we've been seeing, people now being forced to do the right thing. So I hope your organization is also ensuring that are you getting your pay alert?
Well, before we come to Mr. Gengele, why are you so particular about being under deducted? Why are you not thinking? Why are you not thinking that the organization might
yes, good. We also do that. When you give us the schedule, we have that handles that department. We also run it on our system. If there's over deduction, we'll let you know. We do that a lot. By the time, especially when people ask for tax clearance certificates, we run it. What is the total income? What is your exempt? Whatever allowances we've given to you. What are you supposed to pay? What has been paid? They will now know what is the difference. So if you have overpaid, we also notify, because it's our responsibility to also let you know. It's not about just collecting. What we're after is collect the right thing, not to overtax you beyond what you're supposed to pay. So we're guided on that, and we ensure that people pay the right thing.
Before we go to that, because I don't want I don't want us to create the impression that KW-IRS is just after taking money. No, that's not what it is. What did I also say? The other leg of that is what we call tax credit, where, for example, you're supposed to pay 9,000, and what has been paid or remitted on your behalf is 10,000. Do you understand? So there's a 1,000 naira difference, right? That 1,000 naira automatically become a tax credit for you. So when you're paying tax, we are going to take that 1,000 as payment in advance. So if, for example,
for me,
you said,
I'm going to return it to me immediately.
No, that's why we said it's tax credit. It comes to you in form of tax credit. It's going to reduce your future tax liabilities. That's what it does.
All right. So I want to really be on the side of the informal sector today. Because are you majorly out there to get more tax from the informal sector because they feel that the pressure is more on them, the artisans, the manufacturers?
Okay, so thank you very much. The truth of the matter is, the answer to that is no. It's a big no. Big no in the sense that if you look at what we make as a service and you want to look at what comes from the informal sector will probably be less than 2% of that total. Because we are guided by these facts, by this statement. There's no nation that will get rich by taxing the poor. You get it? So we don't focus on taxing low income here because that is not the focus. The focus is high net worth individuals. The focus is those that are in the organization. The reason why we do informal sector is to ensure there's justice and fairness because everybody are supposed to actually contribute to the bottom line for development of the state, for the progress of the state. You get it? So it's not, we don't focus on that. Because I'm sure if you roll out the figure to you now, I'll tell you, oh, okay, well, in this last 10 months, we've actually generated over 26 billion. What we have that is informal sector is not up to 300 million. So that says something about it, right?
So let me, in addition, I don't want the people in the paid employment to be cheated. You get, no, let's just say the truth. Nobody wants to pay tax. And that's why I so much love the pay scheme. You know, so all I need to do is just do more sort of supervision, I get my money in. And ensure that people doing under remittance, I watch out, I go after them. Today, the largest part of the economy is the informal sector. And today, everybody must play their part, including those people in the informal sector. Like you said, I'm fortunate, I'm privileged to see those figures every day. What comes is very, very, and I know with the population in Kwara, we can do more from the informal sector. And we are trying to put in so many things to see how we can do more. It's not overtaxing people. At least what we try to do is to widen the tax base. Let's bring in more people. People are making so much money. Some people are in their homes, offices, in their personal homes, on their laptops, online, they're making millions.
Are you sure?
Business. No, people do that.
Online business.
People are doing business. You have some people, they do their, so I don't start mentioning, so I don't start promoting those sites. People legitimately promote their business, they do their business, they make money, and they're not in the tax. What we're saying is this: we must get to a stage where we must be, that voluntary tax compliance. You must. The law says if you are an individual, between 1st of January and 30th of March, you must file your annual returns. Go out that voluntarily come and say, this is what I have earned. We all need to play our part. We all envy these developed countries who travel overseas with such. They are all being financed by taxes. We must get to that stage. Today, less than 10% are tax compliant in the state. People must genuinely, including those people in the informal sector.
So how affordable is this tax that we're talking about? How affordable? Because if I want to genuinely and voluntarily want to continue to pay my tax, it must be affordable.
Yes.
The percentage must be affordable.
Tax, let's say, it's being paid by those people that earn income. If you're not earning income, nobody will ask you to come and pay anything. So what we're saying is that whatever you earn, the law says there's a rate on what you're supposed to pay or whatever you've earned. And that's where filing of your returns comes in. You file and say, okay, the whole of this year, I've earned ₦1 million. On your own, you come. Though we might have to do the other leg of verification. Yeah. Do you understand? That's part of our job. But voluntarily, that's what we're saying. Let's even start with the voluntary declaration. Come out and say, okay, this is what I've earned. The law says, if you have earned 1 million, we are not supposed to pay all the rates on the whole of the 1 million. Yeah. The law says there are some things we exempt. We exempt some things for you. The law says we'll give you some allowances. That is, some part of this income should not be taxed. So at the end of the day, we arrive at what is to be taxed. And then we have the tax rate, which will now be applied to what is accessible, the income accessible, chargeable, and then we charge the rate on that. You understand? So it depends on, what you pay depends on what you earn. So coming to the informal sector, they earn low, so we don't charge them high. We also charge them based on what they've earned.
I still want to ask questions concerning the informal sector. Yes, you have said that you still need to tap into getting more revenue from the informal sector. But let's put a human face to it. We all know the present condition. Inflation rate is about 21.09%. As at today, we all know how difficult things are for those in Nigerians. No, let me be specific. But is KW-IRS willing to put a human face to all of this? Are you ready to, give a soft landing?
Or the law is the law.
Or the law is the law.
Let me start by saying that the same inflation rate you are talking also affects me, that affects the people in the farmer sector.
Yeah, but there are levels to
and I pay my taxes.
Yeah.
Yes, and before I even earn my money, I pay my taxes. You see, we all want good things of life.
Definitely.
We all ask government every day for the provision of infrastructure. And the only way government can provide this infrastructure is through income from taxes. Yes, sir. So talking about human face, we are all human beings in the service.
Yeah.
So we also understand we treat cases, strictly by merit and what the law, and we are strictly guided by the law. If you are earning an income, declare what you are earning. And the law says whatever you are earning, there's a particular portion you should pay. Please pay. And I want to also state it here that in Kwara, we've done a lot of comparative analysis. What we charge in the farmer sector is highly negligible compared to what other states charges.
Okay.
They know.
So, Mr. Gegele, for me now, okay, I am in the civil service. My wife is a trader, you know, and she's just doing that to just help, maybe to just buy things at home if I cannot meet up, just to support me, you know. So, are you saying that she's a trader? She also deducts cost of transportation to go and buy her goods from the wholesales, you know, before she gets it to our own shop. So there are also costs in all of this. So are you saying that you will not charge the whole income she earns? And how sure is that?
Of course. I want to give you a practical example.
Good.
For example, your wife is she's into small business, the way you have said it. Let's say at the end of the day, what she has made as profit is 400,000. The whole of that 400,000 is not what we're going to charge to tax. The other time I was talking about 200,000 naira plus 20%. So now in this case, that will not be applicable because by the time you look at that total income, it's just 200,000. And now what are we looking at? Before it used to be 1% of that of any amount that is below 300,000, 1%. Now later government came and said no, because of the economic hardship, which is a response to the question she asked, take it to 0.05. You know, so how much is 0.05 of 200,000 naira? How much would that come to? That is going to be less than 2,000 naira
for a year.
Yeah. So if you make that kind of income and government is saying pay me the basic, just 1,500 naira for me to be able to continue to stimulate the economy so that you too can continue to operate in a prosperous economy. How much is that? And even for the people in the corporate setting or for the high net worth individuals, you make $1 million naira, you declare it. Before we even subject it to tax, 400,000 out of that money is going to be set aside as something that we cannot tax. What do I mean? 200,000 plus 20%. That's going to give you 400,000 that cannot be touched. Now, at the end of the day, you apply the rates 7%, 11%, you know, down to 24%. By the time you add all of that together, the Nigeria average tax comes to 19%. So the question is going to be how much is 19% of 600,000? That shows that government, even the way this tax is actually structured, government is not interested in making life difficult for people. We are the one that, for whatever reason, I don't know, you know, that have just decided to say, okay, oh, whenever they ask me to pay this tax, I think it's something I don't want to do. Because the government is saying that, okay, you have made 1 million, I'm not going to charge 400,000 of that money. For me, I think it's a very big, what do you call it, incentive that should naturally encourage people to want to do the right thing.
Mr. Gary, the way you are talking, you want me to pay more tax, really? You are encouraging me to even give more to the government.
Yeah, that's why they're here.
Because you're enlightening us. Because the way you are saying it's so very interesting. Let's move on.
Let me come to Mr. Usman, Director Income Tax, KW-IRS. Now let's talk about the issue of tax clearance certificates. Now I'm in the formal sector. Now I want my certificates for certain reasons. How do I go about it?
Okay, there are two ways. Let's go through the normal manual way to start with, which most of us are used to, because some of us are not computer literate. So we allow the two processes. So the normal one is you just do an application, you attach your evidences of deductions or your tax receipts. In this case now, as a staff of Kwara TV, if you have evidence of your deductions, you just attach it for 3 years. So you just attach all those documents. So when we get that, we have, of course, we have your files at the back end there. We review it, we look at what you've earned. That's an opportunity for us to know if we're going to give you a refund or if you have been underpaying the state. So we'll look at it, we'll calculate. So if it is okay, you understand, we give out the tax clearance certificate. The other option is you don't have to go to the normal process of start writing. You can just go to our self-service portal. It's user-friendly. We try to encourage everybody to go to our user self-service portal. It's very interactive. Just open an account quickly. When you open it, you can do a lot of things there. Like you're filing your annual tax returns. You can do so many things there. So one of the things you can do there is request for your electronic tax clearance certificate. You just do the request, gets to us immediately. When we create it, it's within 24 hours, if there's no any issue, you are not, and the rest. You just get your electronic tax clearance certificate free of charge. You don't pay anything. But if you go through the manual route, you have to pay the admin charge of 1,000 naira. Okay. So that's just it. So it's a very seamless process, and we encourage everybody, please go to our website, log on, and enlist yourself as a taxpayer.
All right. So I just wanted to ask if there's a payment attached to that, but of course I've just mentioned that the tax clearance certificate is just 1,000 naira if you're going through the manual. Now we know in every service, in every organization, we have the bad eggs. You have the bad eggs. How is KW-IRS making sure that peradventure there are bad eggs who are, of course, so charging the service and making life difficult. You have agents, and making life difficult for taxpayers to want to, continue to pay their tax. What are you doing in this case?
Thank you very much. There's a whole lot that we're actually doing. We try to engage our taxpayer online, offline. We make available a whole lot of interactive strategies to ensure that taxpayers are able to reach us. For example, since the advent of this new management, we have been able to spread across the entire state. So the 13 local governments outside of the central, each of them have an area office. So that means we're taking tax service to the doorstep of the taxpayers. And of course, in the central too, we have 4 different offices, 3 in the central, and then of course we have 1 at ASA. But more importantly is the fact that the service tries as much as possible to discourage the activities of touts, and that's why that's why all of these offices are open. That's why you can reach us on phone number, you can reach us on email, on Facebook, on Twitter, and the rest of it. And of course, we also try as much as possible to make sure that what we issue as receipt or tax clearance certificate are things that you can actually verify. So I want to use this opportunity to encourage people. If you want to have any transaction to do with Kwara Internal Revenue Service, it makes a lot of sense, and it makes life easier for you if you approach us directly. Don't allow people to come to you and say, okay, they can interface between you and the service, because nobody has actually been given that power to do that. For those that we have as agents that collect what's called one form of revenue or the other, they have letters to that effect. So even if they are coming to you, you will still need to be able to challenge them and say, okay, can we see the engagement letter, that authorizes you to do this, on behalf of the service. For example, you cannot see a KW-IRS staff, going on the road to now go and put maybe stick or get very aggressive and say, okay, you're not going to go if you don't make this particular payment. We don't go that way, because that's not what the law says. You understand? So it is my appeal, and I hope that our taxpayers out there will listen, and they will take advantage of all of these platforms that has been made available for this, by the service, for them to actually be able to, for us to be able to serve them effectively.
All right, let me come back to Mr. Usman. Now, of course, we do know that getting tax from people is not so easy. People still want to be, confident of the fact that, okay, when I pay my tax, I'll get certain benefits from it. Now, what are these things that Kwarans tend to benefit from paying their tax?
Thank you. Let's look at our core mandate is to generate revenue for the state. Yeah. Understand? And then, of course, it is now the job of the state to now decide through the budget process and the rest for them to look at it. The executive now look at these are the projects that we feel will actually impact on the lives of the people. So we concentrate on our own core mandate, which is strictly, getting that revenue, and then we allow the other government agencies to focus on their own job. Ministry of Works, that has to do with the roads, let them do it. And I'm so happy being in this beautiful studio. This is part of the dividend of the taxes that people have paid. Money coming in has also been spent on this. So that's what we do. We concentrate on our core functions and allow other agencies to do theirs.
Now, of course, Kwara State Revenue Service have had the highest revenue generation, the highest so far, just recently in the last 3 years since its establishment. Now, we wonder how you were able to do it. How did KW-IRS do it to achieve this feat of getting the highest revenue so far since its establishment?
Okay, we are actually blessed to have a highly dedicated management team, ably led by our executive chairman, Chief Mrs. Shadia Money, all the directors. And we all have one main focus. And that focus is to ensure that we get better in the things we do. And getting better in the things we do is to see how we ensure we automate the system, we eliminate, income leakages. We try to automate all the system to say how it's going to be, to make things easier for taxpayers. They can make their payments in the comfort of their rooms. So what we try to do in everything is to look at all the revenue lines. Every day, that's what we do. And our aim is not just to, about the privilege to have seen so many rates of other states. We do a lot of comparative analysis, peer review and the rest. And what we've done is that we've not increased the rates. What we've been doing is to increase the tax base. So for every line, we don't increase the rate. But what we've tried to do is to bring in more people into the tax end. And that has actually worked so much for us too. And we are beginning to see the results in the increase in our revenue lines.
All right. So for Mr. Gegele, for viewers who are just joining us and of course have not been part of this series, we have just been discussing the income tax. But we know that people get, they pay more, they come and say, okay, you are paying for your land usage. You mentioned, what are the other taxes that can come from having even a small business?
Okay, I don't want to agree with you that people pay more. I don't want to agree with that because I know that the reason why people pay what they pay will be dependent on what is it that they're doing. If, for example, as I'm a staff of Kwara State Internal Revenue Service and I earn my salary, what is going to be deducted from my salary will be the pay as you earn, which is the tax that is due. So what it means is, if I don't have a land, I'm not going to be paying land charge. If I decide not to go into any other business apart from this income, that I'm collecting, I will probably not have anything to do with people that pay business premises, or maybe somebody will come to me to ask me to come and pay one form of renewal or the other fee. I'm not going to be doing all of that. So what people do and what they own decide will be dependent on what they're going to pay, as one form of revenue or the other. For example, if I don't have a car, I'm not going to be paying vehicle license and all of that. Nobody's going to ask me to do all of that. So why it is true that government has different kind of revenue or income that we demand or collect from the taxpayers or people that seek one government service or the other, it is actually dependent on whatever it is that you do. And once you are not involved in those things.
So how is it? So why can't I just have a business and just pay only personal income tax?
It's possible.
If I have a land that I'm using, why can't just the tax just be one?
Okay, you're saying that we should have it on an harmonized bill.
Yes.
When you hold a bill, you will see all the payments.
Yes. Not me paying a personal income tax, then I'll pay for land usage, then the local government will come and say they're also collecting theirs and all of that.
You see,
it's a bit confusing.
You see, for the local government, they have their own autonomy. We don't collect. Of course, there are 4 revenue lines that will collect on behalf of the local government, but they have so many other revenue lines that they collect, and by law, they're actually allowed to do that. We don't intervene in that because we don't have the power to do that. But for what is due to Kwara State government, whether from the ministries or other agencies, everything is, there's something we call harmonized bill. On that harmonized bill, you're going to see every single leg that you're supposed to pay. I think the only thing that is on that is the personal income tax, which is of course a bit dynamic because it's going to do it involves calculations, it involves taking into consideration what you have made. If for example I'm saying okay, you have an harmonized bill that shows your personal income tax. Maybe last year what you pay as personal income tax was 200,000 because at that particular point in time you made a profit of 4 million. Now, if you're making a profit of 1 million, it's going to be unfair for me to ask you to pay the same amount. So we have an harmonized bill that will be rolled out for you to pay the fee or revenue that are fixed in nature. And once you have that bill and you pay everything that is on that bill, no agency or ministry will come to you to ask you to come and pay a repeat of that particular one. But of course, for personal income tax, it's not on that bill because of the fact that it's a bit dynamic, and you want to ensure that you don't treat taxpayer unfairly.
Yeah, talking about unfair situations, we still have thousands of people that do not declare their income. Yeah. That also leads to the fact that they don't also pay their taxes. And we also have people that so dedicated to ensuring that they do the right thing by paying their taxes. Yeah. Don't you think that is an unfair situation? And what is KW-IRS doing about this?
It is an unfair situation, and of course we are very much aware of that fact. We also know for a fact that the law actually empowers us, to take certain drastic action against recalcitrant taxpayers. And of course we do that from time to time. I can assure you, we have a very effective enforcement machinery that ensure that people that fall into that particular category are not actually spared, no matter what. And of course, there is a new initiative, even from the service now. There's something we call taxpayer challenge. It is all to address all of this. As I'm seated here, plus every other thing that I do for the service, I also have a target to bring in additional 150 taxpayers before the end of the year. So when when she was talking about the fact that the wife is doing, has a small business, I'm already thinking of how to capture the wife.
So you have a target.
Yeah, I do have a target. So you have a target to address this.
Oh, okay.
To address the fact that you still have a lot of people out there who are not in the tax net, who are not paying. Every single staff of Kwara State Revenue Service do have that. From October to December, we're expected to bring in additional new taxpayers. Because like the doctor said, the mandate is you cannot increase the rate. And of course, the most effective strategy the world over is to expand the tax net.
Is that not pressure on the citizens? You must grab me because you have the target there.
It's not that I must grab you. It is, like I said,
it's because you have a target and you want to get paid.
No, it's not because I have a target.
You must ensure that I fall into that pool of paying my tax.
It's not because I have a target. It is because by law, that is what we should be doing. By law, we're not supposed
to come a target by law to bring me in.
What I have as a target by law is to enforce the provision of the law. You understand? What she said is there are thousands of people who are outside of that net. And of course, if you look at it, it's quite unfair to everybody that is seated in this studio. You pay your tax because it doesn't even come to you. Your salary will not come to you until they have taken that particular leg. Now you look outside and you see two people who are far better than you. And you see that they're not paying taxes. You are likely to be, if care is not taken, you can actually get into a level where you also want to be like, if I escape, there's no implication for it.
It's okay if you have a target and you're actually looking for people that will ensure that they pay their taxes, as long as you have said you can't increase the money, and you can't force people that are just working on the road and like, okay, you're working on government road, you use taxpayers' money to repair these roads, so you have to pay for working on the road. As long as they are, justifiable reasons for ensuring that people pay their taxes. But you have to say more on that, Mr. Usman.
Okay, I just want to say one thing. There's a national tax policy which states out what the federal is supposed to collect, what the state is supposed to collect, and what the local government is supposed to collect. I need to just say that when we were saying
because
the state people, yes, they are approved rates, approved taxes, classes of taxes that we are supposed to collect. The local government is supposed to collect, and the laws that today allows the system we have in right now, the tax system we have in Nigeria allows multiple taxation. So. It is legal for everybody that comes. But what we try to do is, as much as possible, to reduce the number of, tax agents or tax, people that come to your office, and that's why we try to work with the local government. And as of today, we have 4 of their lines which we collect on their behalf. So what we're doing there is to ensure that they don't see too many people coming to their premises. And like Igele said, we also use our analysis in to ensure that what we can compress together, we put together. Yes, and like he said, we can't put the personal income tax because the personal income tax is a personal thing. It's a thing that you have to, look at so many factors. So, in conclusion, I just want to say, I shared it before, the compliance level, especially those high net is very low. That is the truth today. And we want people to have a change of heart. You need to, if you're asking government for so many things, you should also be responsible enough to pay your taxes. And today we have taken it as a challenge to ensure that as much as possible, we don't cheat those people that are paying taxes. We bring in people into this tax net. Legally and legitimately, we are not out there to say you should pay more than your fair share, because we are guided by that principle of taxation. So what we try to do is, you declare. If you don't declare, we have our own mechanisms too. Some of them are always very surprised when they declare 1 naira and we tell them you have 10 naira. We have our ways of getting information. Yes, so we try to as much as possible, because the law says we should tax your global. If you are resident in Nigeria, we should tax your global income. You should bring in everything, declare everything you have into the to the table. Let's give you whatever we're supposed to give to you. You should be bothered about government getting what is due to them, because if government doesn't get what is due to them, we will not have the comfort of work. We won't have the security that work. So that is just it.
So now, do you think the compliance level is low because I asked the question to Mr. Abdullahi the other time he came? The compliance level is very low, I agree. But don't you think that it's because we don't have stiffer penalties? You know, like what we used to have in the Western world, where footballers make so much money, if they don't declare their assets, they're going to jail. If they don't pay their taxes.
So many actors.
So many actors, celebrities in abroad, you know. But here in Nigeria, it seems as if nobody's going to do anything
it's a
about
process.
it.
You know, we can't just, it's a process which we've actually acknowledged. And the first step towards that process is what we're doing, advocacy. You know, we talk to people. Most times when they don't want to listen, we take a step higher. By the time we start asking them to go to the court with those evidences, you begin to see people rushing in and the rest. So it's a step. We are not interested in jailing people because the fact is that if we take it there and if you don't file your annual returns and we take it to court, you become an ex-convict automatically. So there's so many, we have the laws behind us and we're actually using this. So many people are complaining, but we know we can still do more, and we are motivated, and that was what brought about us leaving us, because the service is driven by performance. Take it on. We might be in a public service, but we are strictly guided by performance, whatever we do. And we ensure that we work in such a way that we ensure that the figures come in.
All right, so we're winding down, Mr. Gengeli. Can Kwara trust the service to ensure that you bring in all that has been collected to the government coffers?
Yes, and absolutely. As a matter of fact, we don't even, we are the agency saddled with the responsibility of collecting this money, but this money does not come to us. So I need to let you understand that fact. Yeah, we collect the money, but the money is domiciled with Kwara State. We call it the IGL collection account.
Also, because I'll give you an instance.
That's what I'm going to.
Okay. All right.
Now, if you look at all the banks that we have in the state, I think we have about 16 commercial banks. All of these banks keep one account or the other that is the IGL designated account. Before now, we used to have a situation where when you come to our office, we give you an account number to go and pay in the bank. The director was talking about the fact that we are automating. So the level I've gotten to now is, if you come, you know, we're just going to guide you on how you can make payments, whether on Flip Teller, on Pay Arena, or on Remitter. You know, so and once we make that payment, that money goes to the government account. The only thing we allow is what we call a viewing rights. I can view to see if you have actually paid, because if I'm going to give you a receipt, I need to be able to confirm that, and I don't have to go and queue up at Ministry of Finance, you know, to get that information. So we're allowed to actually view the accounts, view only. You can't spend. We're just like every other agency in the state. When we generate this money, at the end of the month, we get our own allocation from the government to say, okay, for payment of your salary, for upkeep of your office, for maintenance, whatever it is, we just get a one-off allocation per month. You understand? So we're just like every other Kwarans.
We're not a signatory to the account.
God bless you. That's what I was just talking about. Right. So it's not something that
we don't have access to that account.
We don't have access to it. That's why I call it view. We're able to view to say, okay, you have made X amount of money as payment, you know, and I needed to be able to give you a receipt for that, or for reporting purpose. My target is 34 billion. How much of this have I been able to do? All of that, we're allowed to be able to check the account and, you know, draw those.
My illustration.
Okay.
Your agent have come to my wife's shop to collect money. My wife will not go and pay in the bank. My wife will give your agent money and you will issue a receipt.
Yeah.
Are you sure that your staffs will remit all that has been collected, especially from the information?
They don't even have a choice. Do you know why they don't have a choice? Yeah, we give you a receipt to go out because you're in the informal sector, and for example, a particular staff of ours has come to your wife's shops, she made payment and a receipt is issued. It doesn't stop there. Don't forget, the receipt that they are bringing to your wife's shop, they are receipts that are printed by the service. They are serialized, they are controlled. Now, when that receipt is issued, at the end of the week, we do this on a weekly basis, every Thursday, not even Friday. Whatever you have done from Monday, from the previous Friday up to Wednesday, by Thursday you have to come to the head office to do what we call reconciliation. The internal auditors will look at the receipt they have issued. They will check one after the other, you know, to see, okay, which account has this money gone to? And I can assure you, we have had instances where staff who have been involved in one form of malpractice or another. You know, yeah, that's to tell you that the service does not take kindly anything that has to do with lack of integrity.
Now,
You know why I'm saying why I said is we have to build confidence.
I was going to say that if you want me to declare my income, I make certain amount of millions per month, and you want me to declare that. Will it remain confidential? Will I still be safe that
Yes.
I won't have people coming to my house late in the night?
They are classified information. You know, the other was talking about high net worth individuals. Me, I'm sitting there. I don't have access to their information. It's from the director to the executive chairman. I don't have access to their information. So whatever it is that they have declared, I don't know. The only thing is, at the end of the day, they say, okay, this is the income this person has been assessed, is what is going to pay. Some of them, they are even as smart as, okay, if you want to advise them on that figure, the figure goes directly to them. You know, there's no third party involved.
Exactly.
Because of course, we understand that confidential, you know, part of our work is actually
important.
inevitable.
All right, so once thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here in the studio this morning. Of course, we have been speaking with the Director of Income Tax of the KW-IRS, Mohammed Usman. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure having us.
And of course, our very dear friend, and we hope that we have not troubled you this so much this month. So, for communication channels, and very quickly for communication channels.
Okay, thank you very much, because that's very, very important to us. So we have a website. Our website is www.kw-irs.com. We have email. Our email is fdesk@kw-irs.com. Please, that's also very important. Then we have a customer care line. You know, it is 0700 6959 477. I want to take that again.
It's already on.
Yeah, you can take that again.
It's already on the screen,
Okay,
but you can take that again.
0700 477. On Facebook, we are what's it called, Kwara IRS. On Twitter, we are at Kwara IRS. On Instagram, we are at KW-IRS. And of course, if you want to follow us on LinkedIn or YouTube, just type Kwara State Internal Revenue Service fully, and of course, you will be live.
I must say that the KW-IRS is everywhere. I want to thank you, gentlemen. Abdullah Gigele, the head tax assessment. Thank you for joining us. And of course, Director Income Tax, Mohammed Usman. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So just have a seat. This is where we'll, of course, wrap up the interview segments. Once again, thank you for joining us. They'll be here again on Friday, and of course, as the series continues. We're going to make a quick break. While we return, it's time for us to wrap up the show. Stay with us.